Good afternoon, everyone. Treasure Troller here from the partially mask-wearing militant state of Michigan, where we have more FBI agents and paid informants than we do actual conspirators in the plot to kidnap our governor and dictator, Gretchen Whitmer. Yesterday, I was watching Lamont's vlog on Kyle Rittenhouse. And I tend to agree with what a lot of Lamont said, with the crying, Kyle getting all emotional and breaking down on the stand. I think for juries, it's almost like a sort of a Goldilocks effect. You have to show some emotion, and you can't show too much emotion. It's got to be just right. I felt Kyle's was maybe a little bit more than I thought. It was pretty emotional, maybe a little bit over the top, but I wasn't 18 years old and that wasn't the worst day of my life. But I kind of thought about something else along the lines of mostly peaceful protesters and how Kyle really should be found not guilty. Kyle's running through the streets. There's a riot happening, albeit mostly peaceful, except for the burning buildings and the rioting and the looting and whatnot, fire setting. Kyle is being chased by a group of individuals. One of them hits him with a skateboard. He's on the ground, and even in the testimony, I can't think, one of the guys the guy he shot in the arm, he even said Kyle was, I had a gun in my hand and it was up in the air. And it wasn't until I pointed it at Kyle that Kyle shoot. There was another guy in the video that stopped in front of Kyle, put his hands up in the air, and nothing happened to him. One guy actually physically put their hand on Kyle's weapon. And he shot in self-defense. So let's compare and contrast that to this jabroni. This Michael Byrd, the Ashley Babbitt cop officer involved shooting. So it was a riot, albeit a mostly peaceful riot. There were no burning buildings. There was no looting. Officer Byrd was not being chased down the street by a mob. In fact, Mr. Byrd was behind a locked, barricaded door. He shot Ashley Babbitt, who was making her way through a broken window. She did not have a gun in her hand. She did not touch his weapon. She probably wasn't 6 feet. She was definitely social distance length away from Officer Byrd. And Officer Byrd felt in fear for his life. In fear for his life. So I think that's what I'm going to be thinking about with the Kyle Rittenhouse case. Is guy in his mid-40s, probably 20 years experience on the police force, shoots an unarmed woman trying to gain access to a room through a window, and he felt in fear for his life. But I guess I don't blame Byrd or Rittenhouse. I really blame, law enforcement and the politicians. If you're not going to, if the Capitol is that important, they should have had a lot more riot type officers out there. They didn't do what they had to do to protect that building. And law enforcement in Kenosha just sat back and watched the buildings burn. So what happens is, rather than having experienced law enforcement officers taking care of the Capitol, you get basically the equivalent of a mall officer with a gun. And if you're not going to take care of the streets in Kenosha, you're going to get citizens. You're going to get armed citizens. You're basically going to get the JV team. You're going to get the JV team out there, and this is the kind of stuff that happens. So, I think with Kyle Rittenhouse, I'm looking at it from, boy, if standing behind a barricaded building and an unarmed female is coming through a window is self-defense, I don't know what Kyle Rittenhouse is doing on trial. So with that, this is Treasure Troller saying aloha and good day.